seen your fair share of bad things. What's going on?
Hi, I'm Sophia Jessica, and this is Angel, and welcome to the fan carpet.
Can you introduce yourself and your role in Jitters, please?
My name is Marc Zammit, and I am the film director, producer, and executive producer on Jitters.
Awesome. And you also wrote the story.
I didn't actually write the story.
Oh, you didn't?
No, a lot of people get confused with this. So I'm actually dyslexic, so I struggle to write. But what I am is, you could say, story by. So I have a ghostwriter, George Wilcox, and I normally lay out scripts.
Yeah.
And like, I'll kind of like use Grammarly and things like that to help me correct my spelling with it. And I'll just kind of I'll send him an audio, and I'll just say, like, this is what I want. This is what I want to happen in certain scenes and things like this. This how the direction I want it all to go. And he'll script it, and then I'll get someone to read the script or something, and then I'll just say amends that I want and stuff.
All right. Cool. Awesome. Excellent way of doing it. So Mark, where did Jitters begin for you? What was the moment you first encountered the project and knew it was something you wanted to bring to the screen?
So for me, obviously, as a director and producer, one thing that I realized is that, you know, to be a successful film director and producer, you gotta not make films that are just for you. You've got to make films that are for the market. The film is like a stock market at the end of the day, and you've got to treat it like a business, um, because it is a business. And if you want to thrive in a business, you sometimes got to go with what the stock market is doing, when it's going up and when it's going down. So normally when I do a movie, I normally look about 3 years ahead of just what the big people are doing, or what, like, you know, the successful people are doing, because obviously what they're doing, they know something that probably a majority of people don't know. So I think, okay, let's look at the world, let's see what's happening in the world 2 3 years ahead, what's coming out. And I remember coming across ChatGPT before it even blew up. I'm talking like a year before it even blew up. And I was like, oh, because then it was like all this AI stuff that was coming out way before everyone was very familiar with it. And then I was like, this is gonna really pop off. And then I started looking at some productions that were making things like Megan, that was coming out, which is like artificial intelligence, the film with Megan Fox, that was coming out, what was being made at that time. I remember Scream 7 having some elements of like AI in it as well. Um, and when I was doing my research with all of this, and just chat GBT, looking at in the markets and reading it in like magazines and stuff, hearing about all of this AI companies that are being made. And I kind of thought, okay, I'm seeing a little kind of pattern here, especially with the films. So I thought, I need to come up with something really cool. And I thought of things like, I'm massive fans of like Saw 7. And I thought, do you know what? If I do this film, I want to do it as in like an a paranormal, really, like a kind of paranormal activity, but with AI. Like, you've got this entity that's kind of like a ghost, but it's not there. It's not a ghost or like a paranormal that we would know as paranormal, but more the technical side of paranormal. Like, is your internet watching you? Is your things watching you? Is the algorithms kind of interacting with you, like face recognition just to unlock your phone now, and fingerprint and things like that? And you know, you could type in your name in Google and things will come up. So I thought, imagine if that was something that could just hypnotize you and take it. And that's where the whole idea of Jitters come along. And I thought, well, you know, a lot of films that were very popular in the kind of character genres was clowns. I was like, it has to be a clown. I was thinking, what would it be like? What would I see this AI as? It's like, and I thought of a clown. I think it's like just clowning with you. You know, this AI can be a clown. It's like, it's basically being whatever it wants to be. So I thought, okay, this is quite cool. And one character that really stood out to me as a kid which is not a clown, but like just the kind of extreme side was The Mask.
Mm.
You know, it's a green guy with a yellow suit and he's just chaotic and he's quite like bizarre. And then I thought, okay, well, what color suit can I have? And I put him in this void. And that's when I kind of created this idea of Jitters, and using the marketing side that I have, which I have a marketing background and a branding background of something that's called biology with numerology, which a lot of big brands do to kind of give you so much branding in your face that you can't forget things because you associate it with the logo of the brand. So, for example, if you walk out the door and you're hungry, you don't automatically think of food. Your brain will signal you to logos. So you'll see logos of like McDonald's or KFC, and you'll be like, oh, burgers, or you identify things with logos. So
Mm-hmm.
that's when I created the Jitters light bulb, because we know red as negative, green as positive, red as stop, green as go. And we deal with this on a day-to-day basis. We're glued to our phones, and red means your battery's going low, green means it's charging. Your traffic light, green means it's safe to drive through the traffic light, red means stop. So because we deal with this on a day-to-day basis, that's why I integrated the light bulb on his head. So when people are out in the world, and they have seen Jitters and they see that light, they might just associate it with the film without realizing that. So there's these little kind of methods that I used, and that's how the whole idea kind of come together, really.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, the Megan Fox film is some Subservience, I believe,
Yeah,
that you were thinking
that's,
of. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but it's
I think
on
it's on
Netflix.
Netflix.
Yeah, it's on
Yeah.
Netflix. Yeah, I'll check it out at some point. So, what was it about the story of Jitters that made you feel that it was a film worth telling right now?
I think it's just very current. I think it's very relevant. Um, I think when I look back when I first started the idea, I didn't realize how crazy AI would be today.
Mm.
Um, and I think I kind of like stumbled on something that was quite what people could relate to. Like when you are online, you're on your social media, like it's so hard to really know what's real and what's not real. Do you know what I mean? Like you'll look through a video, you could be sitting there watching a video for about 30 seconds, 40 seconds, and then you only realize that it's made with AI. Or like you'll see something come up and it'll be like, is that AI? Or and then you will see something that's real, and people go, you see the comments, people going, oh, it's AI, it's not real, it's not real. And then there's so many different things of people's identity being um, stolen to make creations of AI, and even there's been like really bad things where people have been using AI to do provoking things on like established people, which like of nudity and things like that. And it's getting to that point where people are kind of getting lost in this reality of what's real, what's not real, and this manipulation with it all.
Mm.
And I thought, wow, this is really current. This is really relevant in such a prime moment of doing this film, because that's what Jitters does. You know, you watch Jitters and the characters are manipulated with influences of their deepest fears that provokes them into what is real and what is not real.
Mm.
And I think that was very, very lucky to have that kind of combination happening in the two. And I think I saw a news article today about Facebook Meta being saying they need to really crack down on the AI stuff, because people are starting to get manipulated into like AI that's not real, because of obviously all the kind of situation with the world crisis at the moment. People are even making fake AI videos of like airplanes blowing up and things like this that can
Mm.
create like misleading information.
Yep.
So I think it's very very current, and it's very in, and I feel like we kind of just landed right in the middle of that.
Yeah, it definitely is. It what it comes down to is guardrails. An AI system, as I understand it today, is their sandbox, so they can't actually do anything without your prompt. But the
Yeah,
problem is that people can go in and without the guardrails there. So if you're using something like Grok or Meta AI or whatever, something like that, they don't have the guardrails in place that something like ChatGPT does,
yeah,
where ChatGPT won't allow you to go like won't allow you to do like hypersexualized things or like any violent things because they're the guardrails that it's protecting you against. So you
yeah,
have
yeah,
to be
exactly.
explicit with your prompts.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah, which is what I found in my own experimentation with the platform. Um, when producing a film like Jitters, how do you go about assembling the right creative team to bring your vision to life?
Well, the first thing I do is I have a team of producers with me, which is Richard Oakes. I have James Fuller, my business partner with Aptitude Films. Fab was also a producer on this, more focused on his development of the character and the role and the arc of his story, um, and the background of his story. But what I normally like to do is I kind of like to just kind of get the branding, the tone, and the marketing first. I need
Mhm.
to understand what I'm making because every film that you make is a business at the end of the day, and we have to realize that as filmmakers. Um, so what I normally did was find a tone, find everything else ready to make jitters. And then me and my teams will go like, okay, well, let's look what's in and what kind of vibe do we want to go for. So I remember when me and Richard read the script for the first time, and Richard was like, oh, I really like the Joker kind of feel to the character. And then we created Prism, this world of Prism, basically. So kind of created our own little kind of gothic world and just the tones of like Batman and things like that. And then it kind of led into, oh, let's do it as in because it's the detective investigation route. We was like, well, one of our favorite films is Seven. So we kind of integrated like the branding of the cinematography, a combination of Gotham slash Seven. So we found that tone. And then when we find that tone and we find that imagery, then we want to try and make sure that it has that feel all the way through, throughout the whole film. Um, so we really focus on that kind of sound of things, and then it's working with a creative team like Imran, who's our composer, Joe, who's in the sound mixing and sound design, to just make sure we're nailing these things. And I think what I like to do is I like to do a thing that I call brave filmmaking, and it's just allowing certain choices and allowing certain things to just not be too precious about it and let go and let things just kind of maybe naturally happen, and then you'll be surprised what you can get with that as well. So not being afraid to take any risks and just let the creativity do the magic,
Mhm.
uh, and you'll be surprised what you can get out of it as well.
Absolutely. I was lucky enough to actually be on set with you for quite a lot of the shoot, and yeah, watching you command the sets, like the practical sets, it's just incredible what you're able to do.
Oh,
But
thank
and like what something that I've mentioned to quite a few of the people that I've spoken to is that because you've got your fundamentals in as an actor first before you step behind the camera. That's what, in my mind, that's what makes you a better director because you know what to look for or what you would look for as an actor.
Yeah, I always I to echo on that, I really do feel it's very important to understand an actor's shoes, because at the end of the day, like as much as I could be very technical savvy behind a camera,
Mm,
like at the end of the day, the things that we see on camera is the actors, and the actors tell the stories. And it's just, I call it the actor's frustration. It's just knowing what the actor is actually frustrated with. And I always think to myself, what would I want a director to do for me in this situation? whether it's taking them to the side and telling my actors and prompting my actors that I know that they could do better. And I'm not afraid to tell my actors that, you know, I'll take my actors to the side and go, I know you can do better than this. And what you're giving me is half. Come on, show me and get there. What's stopping you? And really trying to find out their frustration and helping them find that, and using certain acting methods that I learned when I was an actor. I still am an actor, but when I done my training and stuff, like methods that, you know, masters taught me. There's a saying, right? Like no trainee, no master. What's the saying? It's no genius is born. No one's born a genius, and no a master was once a trainee. You know, so it's kind of the same thing. It's like, you know, like going to those people and saying, hey, like I got you, and understanding it, because I want actors to thrive on camera, you know. And if I feel like they're giving a weak performance, or they're struggling, I want them to shine at the end of the day, because this is what's going to be on the big screen when people watch it, you know. I always explain this in a way without sounding too complicated, but cinema photography, your film to look cinema like me, just, I think this is my standards and maybe my high maintenance as a film director, but me handing a film out into the world that has, like giving a piece of chicken that's not cooked all the way through, because this is the world that we live in. We live in a world where we expect this. We're even if you're competing to the big elites like the Hollywood big studios, called it, if you're dealing with these people are used to this in the audience seeing this high quality. So you need to deliver that high quality. That's just a standard. But the things that come with that, once your meal is cooked, it's the ingredients that make it nice and tasty. So when I have my actors, they're the ones that are the ingredients of this. You know, the cinematography, the meal's been cooked, but now my actors are the ingredients. Taste good and feel good when they watch it. If that makes sense.
No, absolutely it does. Absolutely makes sense. Especially like the film is like the film like Jitters is going to live on, and it's going to represent them for years to come. So you want it to be the best that it can be.
Exactly.
So they need to bring it, which they do, because I've seen the film. So yeah, and I know that they brought it. So, and I was there on set, so I saw it firsthand as well. Yeah. Um, so Jitters obviously balances psychological tension with horror elements. How did you approach shaping the tone of the film during production?
For me, I wanted it to feel unnerving. I wanted it to feel like, I think one thing that we don't realize that horror films do to us is giving the anxiety to us. It's the knowing and not knowing, you know, and creating those tensions. And I didn't want to shy away from, when I was doing the film, I was tempted to not show jitters as much. But then I was like, no, people are going to want to see Jitters. And, you know, because Jitters is the franchise. Jitters is the franchise of this film. Like, people fall in love with the Joker and and things like that. You know, these are what make the franchises, and Jitters is the franchise. But I wanted to make it feel, like I mentioned before, echoing from what I said previously, is like, I wanted to kind of set the tone of just like, what kind of thing. It's kind of creating those little moments that people are like, oh, questioning themselves. And I think what's fun about Jitters, with the tone of Jitters, and whether we do a number 2, number 3, number 4, we could literally play with every fear that people have, and a majority of fears that people have. So whether it's ghosts, whether it's spiders, whether it's snakes, like that, all those elements can come into it. So one of those tones that I really got from, I played a game, I think it's called Until Dawn. I don't know if you played it, but you sit down at this desk, and then what they do to test what you're scared of, the guy opens a book and goes, what are you more afraid of, option A or option B? And you're choosing it. And I was like, this is really cool. And that's where I kind of got the tone of, like, you know, playing on the fears rather than think, is like, when I was playing this game, I was like, I'm literally choosing to play the game of what I'm scared of, because I can completely go the opposite, but I'm choosing to be scared, you know.
Yeah.
So like I was thinking that would be a cool, like playing on that fear element. Like they all say, to overcome your fear is to face your deepest fear, right? So if you're scared of heights, go skydiving. If you're scared of the sea, go and swim in the sea, to kind of overcome those fears. So that's how I kind of got the tone with this film, but kind of created this ticking bomb with it, with the tension of Saw and the tone of Saw. And it's a ticking bomb. And I think that's one thing I wanted to do with the film, is the suspense. So in a suspense of film is, if I had a scene where, you know, something, I remember seeing this picture actually, this is where it made sense. You could have a scene where it's like, this bomb is underneath the table. But if that bomb went off, then it's called a surprise. You're just gonna go, oh, I was surprised. I knew there was a bomb and there was a surprise, right? But if you, and you couldn't see that bomb, so let's say that bomb was under the table and then bomb, the bomb goes off and it's a surprise. So it just surprises people, makes people jump. But if there's a clock on the wall and then there's a bomb underneath the table and it says it's got 3 minutes, and then that clock is ticking, then that creates suspense. And that's something that I wanted to do with Jitters, is like, you have to solve this riddle at a certain time, and if you don't, you're going to be provoked in the influence of your fear to basically die by that fear. So I found that like creating a suspense with Collymore, because he had to investigate his deepest fear whilst trying to also solve the crime, and he was on the ticking bomb. So yeah, with tone, I suppose it was that kind of just making people feel unsettled. And if people are unsettled, I feel like they're engaged and they're on the edge of their seats.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it went down the tree at BAFTA on Monday, so yeah, you did well there. Yeah. So every film has its challenges. What were some of the biggest obstacles during the production of Jitters, and how did you overcome? How did you and the team overcome them?
Do you know what? I'm a very this is a hard question, because I'm actually a very patient and very calm director. You know, I trust the process. I trust my team.
Mm,
Um,
yeah, I can attest to that.
thank you so much. I really try to be the best I can, like the calmest I can,
Mm,
because every day that I go on set, the way that I've learned from experience is that every day I go on set, there is going to be a problem, and I am ready for whatever that problem is by surprise. Like, because I never know what it's going to be, but I'm going to be ready for it, because I know. And when the shoot goes too smooth, I'm like, nah, something feels wrong. You know, something. There was like, I'm going to tell you a story. This actually happened. So, one of the end scenes, I don't know if you was there with all the TVs.
I wasn't there.
No, so
I
we
wasn't on
had
that one.
yeah, we was there and we was filming, and we was on time. Everything was going amazing. I was like, this is too good to be true right now. Like, this is ridiculous. This is really too good to be true. So I was like, okay. I was like, everything's going smooth. Anyway, we was because obviously we've got some equipment and stuff. We was like, look, by the way, guys, we're going to put all the cars in a car park down the road, because there's a car park down the road and it's cheaper than putting it on the street. So we're going to put all the cars in there. I think pretty much 80% of the production put those cars in that car park. And we was like, cool, cool. Anyway, the day's going smooth, everything's going great. We wrapped on time. And then all I heard was James go, Mark, we've got a massive problem. And I was like, oh, here it is. This is the end of the shoot. We've got a massive problem. They locked the gate of the car park and it doesn't open to 7 a.m. in the morning. And I was like, here it is. Here's the problem. Like, this was going so well. And even though it was going so well, we purposely put our cars in this car park, and we caused the problem, you know. So like we put, and they're literally, and we actually found out because we wrapped at 10 that that car park wasn't meant to close till about 11, you know. So we was like, so they obviously closed early. So we was like, oh no. So we literally had all of these TVs that we didn't have any cars to put them in. We didn't have anywhere to do what to do with them. We had to kind of work out a system. Lucky my dad's a black cab driver, so he was actually on set with us. I was like, Dad, you're gonna hate me, but you got to take all these TVs home. And he was like, what? He was like, no way. Ross, Henson, bless him, he took the biggest one in his van because his car was still out. And then not only that, I was like, my dad lives in Essex, and I was like, Dad, I've also got more bad news. You got to drive us home. I was like, you got to drive these people home, and then you got to go home afterwards. My dad didn't get home until about 4 a.m. Bless him. And the funny thing about this is my nephew, Frankie, it was his first time visiting my set. And this is the point when he was probably thinking, man, this is a bit chaotic. Because he didn't get home till 5 a.m. My sister's like, I heard Frankie didn't get home till about 6 a.m. Like, and I was saying to my sister, I would always make sure that he's safe and things like that. Next thing, he got back at 5 a.m. But what I'm saying is like, so with challenges, I think you're always going to face a problem as a film director or producer. But I try and be calm and collected and ready for that. And even in those situations, I'm calm because I'm just like, I know it's coming. I just don't know what it is. So I think the biggest challenge for me on Jitters, I wouldn't say was anything on production, because I really trust and love my team. They're all incredible. We've worked together so many times. We know how to fluidly work together. We understand each other. I don't even have to, we speak a language. It's crazy. Like, Richard will just know what I want. Joe will know what I want. They know what I'm thinking. If I hear a plane, Joe or Ben will give me a wink and go, yep, I know. And then we'll go again. So for me, I think the biggest challenge is let me just think about this. The biggest challenge for me is not letting anyone down. And I think the biggest challenge for me is the fear of not trying hard enough. That's my biggest fear. And that's my biggest challenge.
Yeah.
It's just, am I trying hard enough? Am I looking after everyone? Am I doing a good job? Because everyone's depending on me. And that is the biggest challenging thing, because I have to go home and I have to say, am I happy with what I did with the resources that I have? So I think that's the most challenging thing.
Well, I hope you are, because you led those sets, and I was on what 5 or 6 of the sets that we did, and yeah, you commanded them all. Endless supply of Red Bull, but yeah, you commanded those sets like the professional you are. So, you know,
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and with the people that I've spoken to, and I've got like loads of footage there of people that I've spoken to. No one has a bad word to say about you. No one.
Well, thank you. That means a lot. It really does, because it's like, you know, I know it sounds a bit silly to say this, but you know, I'm not in this for people to like me, but I am in this to do a good job and to respect and care for everyone that's involved. So I'm always trying my best to make sure that I put people first, you know, like the way that I see a film set, and the way that, look, I'm not going to sit here and act like making a movie is an extraordinary thing to do. It's not, you know, let's not get it like mixed up. It's not an extraordinary thing to do. We're doing a cool job. We're doing something awesome. Do you know what I mean? Like, doing something extraordinary is being a fireman and saving someone out of a fire, or being an ambulance driver and getting someone to hospital on time to save that person's life. That's an extraordinary job. What we do is something cool. So I'm not going to make it feel like or sound like I do something incredible, but I'm going to make sure, damn, I do a good job at what I do. So for me, it's it's very important that for me, I just do the best that I can for everyone involved, because it's their passion, it's their career, and it's something that they love. And that's what's important for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. Please follow us on Facebook, X, and Instagram for more content. Bye for now.
Can't beg emptiness for rest.
Sam, this beast is real.
You show what you can do. I hear a siren. Maybe you were wrong about me. I'm dangerous and still be. Why don't you give me a sign, like the sea that leaves a trail along that shore? It's not your problem, it's mine. Everybody thinks that I'm okay. Sometimes I think I am too. I'm on the outside looking in, I'm waiting for the shockwaves to begin. Oh, won't you let me hold you for one time? Just a rainy day in a London cafe, a London cafe. So give me one last serenade. Say to me, or swear at me till the night turns into day. And it was a shame when daylight faded, because we didn't notice at all.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. If you like this video, be sure to click that thumbs up button at the bottom of your screen. And also be sure to subscribe to the Fan Carpet YouTube channels. They're absolutely free and so much fun too. Be sure to check out the official website, thefancarpet.com. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date with reviews, competitions, the latest news, and so much more.